What's up everybody, Drizzy Puffs here, and today I'm going to talk to you about what to do when you play Blackout. Now Blackout is the Battle Royale mode in Black Ops 4, and it's incredibly fun and you should totally check it out if you aren't going to. Now these tips are going to help you survive long enough to reach the end game, and these are the tips I wish I knew when I started the game. Okay, so the game devs totally messed up when they didn't even include a tutorial for the beta. I do hope that they do include one in the final version of the game later to help explain the game mechanics a little bit better, but right now you only have me for survival. Since the game developers lacked a tutorial, I'm not even sure how these game mechanics actually do work. Like, I don't have the numbers and the statistics, but it is based on my speculation from playing the beta, and I played quite a bit of it. I'm pretty sure I got the gist of it. Now, if you do happen to know how the game mechanics actually work, and you have a better explanation towards something that I'm trying to explain, please say it in the comments below to help other people out, and I will be sure to try to pin it so that way everybody can get their information 100% correct. So first things first, mark where you want to go. You don't have to, but it certainly helps, especially when you're first starting out. Now me personally, I like to go to firing range to get quick guns and kills, and it's in the middle, so the storm could favor that position. I also find that the flow is a lot quicker in firing range since everything is close together and it doesn't have that much verticality to it. And finding cover is easy. Even if you are getting shot at from the hills, you can dive into cover or go into houses to recuperate. Rivertown is also a good one, with the houses close to each other and doesn't offer the enemy to get to a high position and wait for you to walk across into their sights. However, any zone with a title to it will always have good loot, obviously, but here's something I didn't realize for a while. You will notice these yellow squares and rectangles that represent houses. They don't have titles to them, but they do contain loot and possibly less players. So if you want to get easy loot without a struggle, I suggest making your way to these unnamed yellow houses. When you're in the helicopter, you can pretty much wingsuit off whenever you want. When you drop out, there is a bar to your right, and it's your altitude meter that has a green bar on the meter itself that indicates your parachute deployment. Also on the meter, it shows how fast you're going. There are 3 speeds. 3 arrows means you're descending fast, and 1 arrow means you're descending slow. Now, I don't understand the parachute deployment mechanics well because they do feel a little inconsistent, but just please note that if you aren't descending fast enough, you actually deploy your chute early and you start to slowly descend. But if you're diving down towards the ground really fast, you actually deploy your chute early and you hit the ground a lot faster. Now, I'm not so sure if things will change after the beta. I'm pretty sure they will, but please keep in mind that that does happen. And again, like, to me personally, I think the parachute deployment mechanics are just a little inconsistent. Once you land, immediately look for loot. Loot will be either guns, first aids, medic packs, trauma packs, ammo, weapon attachments, throwable equipment like grenades and concussive grenades, perks, and equipment like recon drones and grappling hooks. Now try to identify what these items are because you will find a lot of loot around you, and you don't want to pick up everything immediately because by default you can only carry 5 different things. Now guns don't count towards your 5 inventory spaces because they will go to their own dedicated weapon slots, and if you happen to pick up like an equipment like a razor wire or grenades, it will go to your equipment slot, so it won't count, but they don't stack as well. So just try to remember that and be mindful of that when you're picking up everything. Now here's something that I didn't know. When you have a gun already and you see a weapon attachment, like let's just say a scope or something for your barrel, the gun that you have currently, you should be able to equip it immediately off the ground by pressing the same use button or the same pickup button to equip it and put it on your gun immediately. Now note that some attachments don't go on certain guns. I really don't I don't know which ones off the top of my head, but just know that if you do happen to pick up something for your gun and you don't see it on there, it's probably in your inventory slot. The next important thing is to always pick up healing items and then focus on perks and grenades. If you're lucky, you'll find a backpack that will allow you 5 more slots for your inventory, so you'll end up with a total of 10 slots. But sometimes I don't find a backpack till mid-game, so resource management is important in early game. Now here's something that you should do, and that is to pick up all the ammo you can find. They don't fill up your inventory space, and if you're playing with squads, it's helpful when you're carrying the ammo type for the guns that your teammates are carrying, so that way that when they need the ammo, you can just drop it immediately. Eventually, you'll be able to identify which item is which and develop a flow state where you'll even pick up perks first if you see it, just because you know that they're useful. Another item that you should always pick up are armor. There are level 1, 2, and 3 armor. Of course, you always want the level 3 armor. You can only equip 1 armor piece, and you cannot hold excess armor in your inventory. And they don't cost inventory space when you're equipping it. Always try to have armor if you can, and they break after getting shot multiple times. I don't know if they break randomly due to RNG, depending on the caliber of the bullet, or if the armor has health points, but if you get shot enough, they do break off. Headshots from a sniper rifle will always down you unless you have level 3 armor. In that case, your level 3 armor will break, but you will still have some health points to run away and take cover. Now those are the basics that I wish I knew earlier in the game, but over time I started to see how the game works, and this should help you survive long enough towards the end game, the final 5, when the storm is only about 20 meters wide in circumference. Now I also have bonus tips that will help elevate your game even further, but note these are more subjective to me. Here's a tip about healing items. There are trauma kits that immediately heal you up to 200 health. Think of them as shield potions in Fortnite. I personally use trauma kits first and carrying 1 or 2 with me towards the end game. I always try to stack first aids as much as possible, and you can heal while sprinting. So if you get shot and have no idea where the enemy is at, you can run away while healing. Also, you can reload while sprinting. Another thing I wish I knew is that when you are equipping your perks, you don't have to stay in your inventory for it to be used. You can simply click it and you'll start the loading prompt on it. But you can get out of your inventory immediately once you select your perk. Also note that you can use as many perks as you can. I don't know if the same perk can stack in any way, and you can't click multiple perks. You can only activate one at a time. I personally love the recon drones. They are incredibly helpful, and I find them OP sometimes. You can hide somewhere and have your recon drone just sit somewhere, and you will have a 360-degree view of everything. They do have a distance restriction, and once you tab out of the drone, you can't use it anymore. Even if you activate it for 1 second and click out of it, you can't use the same one anymore. I like to save the recon drone towards the end game to find the last few enemies, to take note of their last known location and use it to my advantage. Also, if you're running away from a pursuing enemy, I like to find cover and use the drone to scout them out and make a plan on how to escape or take them out. Sensor darts are really powerful. You can use them like a throwable equipment, and it shoots 1 dart and sticks anywhere, and you will see a radar on your map. Anybody who steps in that radar will be seen like a UAV. Again, it's great for the end game stuff or finding the last enemy, or you can use it defensively and wait for the enemy to push. Dead silence is incredibly OP. I think they need to decrease its length time or something, but if you see it, grab it immediately. I use it again for the end game, and the reason why I prefer to use dead silence towards the end game is because the circle gets incredibly small, so you will be within close proximity of the enemy, and having the drop on your enemy just because they couldn't hear you is an incredible advantage. These are the final tips that I have to give out since the beta. Note, they are planning on changing a lot of things before the game actually launches, and will continue to change things as the game progresses. So I will update this video when the time comes. If you want to stay tuned to my opinions and strategies, subscribe. It's free and you'll get updated on my next video. Share this video on Twitter or Facebook. Maybe it'll help your friend out. I'll see you guys later. Peace out, everybody.
Sit rep. Potential collapse detected. Relocation to indicated safe zone is advised.